Okay, y'all, we're gonna get started. Just want to say Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see everyone. Nice to see everyone here. And we're gonna go right into candle lighting, which is on page 120 of your prayer books.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's been another lovely week. And there's children there.
You still have a card. The card was right there.
It's right there.
Yeah, that'd be easier. Yeah. There you go. Let's use that. Let's use that.
Okie dokie. Now the card is in the correct place. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. You got it. Nailed
I was
it.
distracted. All right. Well, thank you, Rabbi.
Yes, thank you.
And thank
And we'll move over to page 128. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achiot gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achiot gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achiot gam yachad. Move over to Lachad Odi, which you can find on page 138 of your prayer books. And this evening we're going to recite paragraphs 1, 5, and 9. When we arrive on paragraphs 9, I invite you all to stand up and face the entrance as we greet the Shabbat bride. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem lefeterit v'letila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva ore kumi ori, uri shir daberi, kivod Adonai aleka negila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please stand. Boi v'shalom ateret bal'a, gam b'smicha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Lecha dodi likra kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 You may be seated. We're now moving over to Shalom Aleichem on page 142 of your prayer books. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Turn the page over to 144. Yitkedal v'yitkeda shemei rabba Be'elma divrach yotei v'yamlik malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon Uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala Uvizman kariv V'imaru amen Yehei shmei rabba mevarach Le'alem alal me'al maya Yitbarach, yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitbramam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei kedusha b'richu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'al min v'yama v'yimaru Amen. We now turn to 146. I invite you all to rise with me for the Barcho. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Moving now to page 149, and let's read in English the bottom part of that page together. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? And where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hamariv ravim. Let's continue in the English on the bottom part of 151 together. Wisdom and wonder, passion, instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love? This holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Now moving to the Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Avad 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'elem asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinartam levarnecha b'divartam ba'am B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'techa ha'vaderech, u'shofbecha u'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et chol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzietziechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. Let's read the English on top of page 157 together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Remember 158. Lie, 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 lie. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osei efele, nora tehilot osei efele, lai 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 lie, 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 lie. Move over to Hashki Venu, and let's read the English on top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapares sukat shalom, aleni ve'akol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Move over to Vishamru on page 162. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. B'nei Yovein, B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Vishamru B'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. Ki shet yamin, Asadonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Now move over to the next page on 164, and when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me for the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehillatcha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol v'Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevii geula livnei b'neihem, l'man shemo b'yahava. Melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ezra Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei kol atah Rav Yoshia. Mashi haruach u'marid haga Hashem, mekakel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somet noflim berofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato lishanei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, u'mido melach, melech memit u'mechayem, u'matzmir Yeshua, ve'emanata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, v'chayei hakol. We will now continue until page 180. You may be seated whenever you like. Say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel, vimru, vimru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yakol yoshvei tevel, vimru, vimru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. 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 Okay, some words of Torah. So, our Torah portions from Genesis up until now have been very narrative focused. Each week has been a story, starting from the creation of the universe and culminating up into the Israelites receiving the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. And our Torah, which in Hebrew means laws, and up until now it has been showing us laws through values from its stories. But in this week's portion, which is called Mishpatim, which means judgments, we see actual nitty and gritty laws. And from this point on, much of our Torah is concerned with instructions on organizing and running a society, on Mishkan and temple practices, and on legislating these new law codes and practices. So the first set of laws to come in this portion I find to be the most profound, because they are the most necessary. After the 10 Commandments, the Israelites can only survive by practicing the laws of a healthy society. And so I believe the first laws address the greatest needs. Thus, this week's portion, Mishpatim, contains some of the most practical and important laws that we see in our whole Torah. And one of the most important practical laws presented in this week's portion is the need to ethically treat those who are the most disadvantaged in Israelite society. The Torah identifies them as the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. Now, our Torah makes it clear that these categories all have the same thing in common. They cannot advocate for themselves by the current standards of Israelite society. Yes, it was back then a patriarchal society, so a woman, a child, a stranger needed a man to speak on their behalf and advocate for them. But it's clear from our Torah that it was self-aware of this dynamic and points out that their needs are as important as everybody else's. You shall not ill-treat any widow or orphan, Adonai proclaims. If you do mistreat them, I will heed their outcry, and my anger will blaze forth. Adonai also says, you shall not wrong or oppress the stranger, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. These particular mishpatim, or judgments, have evolved in our Torah and in our tradition to be the basis of something called empathic justice. Rabbi Emanuel Rachman, famous guy, defines empathic justice as a way to seek or to make people identify themselves with each other's needs, with each other's hopes and aspirations, with each other's defeats and frustrations. What I believe Rabbi Emanuel Rachman means is that empathic justice stems not just knowing what's right and what's wrong, but from feeling it. Oppressing the stranger should feel wrong, says Adonai, because you have felt what it means to be oppressed as a stranger. And this prohibition of oppressing the stranger happens 36 times in our Torah. It's the most repeated Mishpatim in the entire Torah, and it's found a place in our hearts as an important social justice value throughout Judaism's history up into modernity. But you don't need to take my word for it. There are numerous famous modern rabbis who have commented on the importance of this Jewish value. For example, Rabbi Jill Jacobs, she wrote, "For the Bible, the experience not being fully secure in Egypt obligates the Jewish people, now secure in their own land, to care for those who remain perpetually on the outside. We can learn that our own history of imperfection should prevent us from feeling superior to others. And within the American context, many Jews have reinterpreted the word stranger as immigrant. Here, the idea that history imposes obligations is extended to reminding Jews that our community once occupied the position now held by newer immigrant groups." Here, Rabbi Jill Jacobs, who is the CEO of Truah, which is a Jewish nonprofit supporting human rights, is suggesting that we Jews are obligated to help immigrant communities due to the historical context of our own narrative. We may not be strangers anymore, but that does not absolve us from advocating and supporting the community or communities considered as immigrants in our own time. Another famous American rabbi, Rabbi Sid Schwartz, wrote this on the matter. "Thousands of Jews demonstrated, marched, lobbied, and risked their lives to go south during the civil rights movement. The social justice principles that we have identified with the Sinai Impulse are often internalized by Jews, whether or not they ever sat at the feet of a Jewish educator. For Jews, the principles of din, justice, and fairness became part of their folk culture, conveyed by parents to their children in the way they saw and experienced the world. Jews who devoted themselves, and in some cases gave their lives, to the cause of civil rights identified with the outsider status of the American Black community because they themselves do not yet fully feel a part of the mainstream of American life." In other words, Rabbi Sid Schwartz, who is a famous author, writes that the Jewish community during the civil rights era drew from a well deep within our tradition he calls the Sinai Impulse. And this Sinai Impulse motivated the Jewish people to fight for the rights of the most disadvantaged community in the country. The bottom of that well was built from this week's portion, where Adonai demanded that the Israelites practice empathic justice by protecting the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. And Rabbi Sid Schwartz continues, "As such, their activism was a manifestation of the Jewish value of loving the stranger. Activist Jews were among a small minority who were committed to not standing idly by while their neighbor's blood was being shed. The appeal to Jews of the struggle for equality had to do with a cultural instinct for acting on a situation that was morally reprehensible and patently unjust. In all these struggles for social change, Jews play leadership roles far disproportionate to their numbers, a phenomenon best understood as Jews, whether religious or secular, acting on a Sinai consciousness that was passed down through generations." And what Rabbi Sid Schwartz identifies as the Sinai consciousness or the Sinai impulse is this empathic justice I mentioned before. There is something deep beating within our Jewish hearts that calls us to advocate for the communities who need support. All because Adonai reminds the Israelites they must protect those most disadvantaged peoples within their own communities, because that's what we were in Egypt. We have been a voiceless people, a people in need of deliverance, in need of help and support. And we remember what it's like to be helpless, to not be in control, to be beholden to the whims of a government that did not care for us. And armed with our long memories and our belief in empathic justice, we demand that what happened to us never happens to anyone else. Thank you. Moving on to the Bisha Berach, the prayer for healing on page 371. In our own community, we're thinking about these people who are in need of healing. Ross Rumack, Frank Eriskin, Haley Goodstein, Alex Bortnick, Mike Purdy, Susan Mermelstein, Megan Crass, Kara Clift, Deborah Moradian, Pat Victor, Denny Victor, Josie Haas, Alice Bat Sebastiana, and Clarice Bat Amelia. If there's someone who you're thinking about in need of healing, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We're now moving over to the Eleni, which you can find on page 587 of your prayer books. And when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with me. Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the Son of God over all humanity, and cause the light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol ha'aretz b'yom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shema We now move to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598 of our prayer books. In our own community, we're thinking about these yard sites. Mary Jane Arnovitz, Irving Brown, Joseph Bruno, Glenn Cantor, Mildred Ellis, and Hattie Falkowitz. If there's someone who you were thinking about, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. Zikronam livracha, the memories be for a blessing. Yit kadal, yit kadash, shemei rabbah, be'elma, divrach, chayotei, v'yamlik malchutei, B'chayechon uvyamechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mebarak La'olam Ulome Elmaya Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitpa'ar V'yitbramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemer Kudasha Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Da'amiran Be'elma V'imru Amen. Yehesh Lama Rabba Min Shemaya L'chaim Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. We're going to create harmony on high, bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. You may be seated. I'm going to invite Roy up here to offer some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. You are all welcome here. You all belong here. Our Shabbat evening services are regularly at 6 p.m. every Friday evening, and we have a special twofer on the second Friday of the month with a Tot Shabbat or young children and family Shabbat at 6, and then a more adult-focused Shabbat service on at 7:15. Our Shabbat morning services and Torah study start at 10:30 here and typically run till around noon on Saturday here in person. We have 2 weekday morning prayer services. We have our Wednesday morning minyan meeting at 8:30. That's via Zoom, and you're all welcome to attend that if you like. And then we have a Thursday morning minyan meeting here, also at 8:30 in the synagogue in person, followed, for those who would like, to continuing to meet together for breakfast at Kava Pancake House on Muldoon. Our Judaism 101 class is offered, is back again and strong. It is offered on the 3rd Saturday morning of the month, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and that is via Zoom. 3rd Saturday of the month also has an opportunity to help out feeding the hungry. If you'd like to help out, you can meet at around 1 p.m. at Fairview Rec Center on East 10th to help with setup, and then starting around 2 o'clock, there's distribution of food to the hungry. So join in with that if you can. 3rd Wednesdays of the month are our Board of Trustees meeting, and that takes place at 7 p.m. live in the synagogue library, as well as via Zoom. All CBS members are welcome and invited to attend. Our religious school takes place on Sundays, starting with Hebrew classes at 9:30, and at 10 o'clock, Shabbat Time Machine, trademark, Rabbi Abrams, at least North America famous, don't know if it's world famous, but North America famous, opportunity for young children and their parents to experience through some kind of magical force, a participation in Shabbat services on Sunday, and that is that regularly is our largest attendance on a given week, is that. So for better or worse, come and join. There's classes, and even for adults, there's discussion while the younger people are in their afternoon classes, so you can join in with that. I'm hosting an informal study group on Fridays after Oneg for people wanting to improve their ability to read from our Siddur using the transliterated Roman alphabet that's on the top left of the page. So if you'd like to join with a few others doing that, we'll be meeting in the library following Oneg. And that is not happening this time. And I will mention, because it's not too early to think about summer, that CBS's 4th annual campout at Trail River Campground near Seward will be July 24th through 27th. Individuals and families of all ages and well-behaved dogs are encouraged and invited to attend. Please contact Cheryl Imbriani if you would like more information. And I'd like to now invite up our CBS president, Brenda Sims, who is also our holiday chair, to share with us fascinating things about Purim and perhaps other holidays. Thank you.
Yes. So on March 13th, we will be having our Purim celebration. And this year it is heroic Purim. So come dressed as your favorite superhero, whether that's DC Comics, Marvel, Gamer, a hero from the Tanakh. Come as your favorite hero. That is our theme this year. And it will be starting at 6 o'clock. We will be having a potluck and a ham and tossin contest happening at the same time. And then after that, we will come and have a costume contest. There's going to be 4 categories for adults and 8 for kids. So come and see about displaying your costume. And after that, we will have the spiel with Rabbi Abram and the drag queen storytime actors. It should be just wonderful. At the end of that, we will announce the winners of both the costume contest and the ham and tossin contest. So I hope everyone can come. It should be super fun. And we're also planning our Passover Community Seder. We don't have a lot of details yet, but it will be Sunday, April 13th at 6 o'clock here at CBS. We don't have signups ready yet or anything like that, but we are planning it and we're talking about it. So.
And I've got 2 announcements. Announcement number 1 is that I'll be on vacation next week, so I'm excited about that. And then announcement number 2 is that we are also on March 9th, we're going to have what I'm calling a community symposium. We're going to kind of talk about the new policies, the national policies we're seeing, and how they affect our state. And we have guest speakers coming. We've got Mara Kemmel, she's the executive director of ACLU. We've got Rose O'Hara Jolly, they're the state director of Planned Parenthood. And we've got Joelle Hall, who is the president of AFL-CIO. And they're going to all come and talk to us on March 9th. And so it's going to be what I'm calling a comfort food potluck. So please make some comfort food and bring enough to share. And we're going to learn more about how this is going to affect our state and our community. And we're going to process what's going on right now. So that's on March 9th at 1 p.m. All right. We're going to conclude now with our, on 647, Ozi V'Zimrat Yah. Ozi V'Zimrat Yah Vayahi Eli Lishua. 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 Shabbat Shalom. I'll meet you all in the NPR for grape juice wine and the challah. I believe now we do not have enough grape juice. our wine. I didn't pour enough, which is a great problem to have. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Yes.